Welcome to New York University's Casa Italiana Zerilli-Marimò. My name is Nicola Lucchi. I am the curator of the exhibition Propaganda, the Art of Political Indoctrination. Together with the team of Casa Italiana, we have prepared a virtual tour of the show, filmed with a 360-degree camera. It is an opportunity to visit the exhibition during the shutdown required by the current health crisis. Let's go and take a look inside. Propaganda is a documentary exhibition. It deconstructs the inner workings of politically charged communication through the lens of 20th century Italian politics. The exhibition's goal is to invite viewers to decipher the rhetoric of political communication in its entirety and to engage critically with the multitude of competing political narratives that surround us, even today. Here in the lobby of Casa Italiana, we find the first section of the show, titled Before and After Fascism. It demonstrates how political propaganda is not the exclusive domain of totalitarian regimes. Democratic forces are equally adept at developing effective political indoctrination through captivating visuals and narratives. Observe, for example, this 1902 advertisement by Franz Laskov for the socialist newspaper Avanti. Despite socialism being a collectivist ideology, the illustrator opted for an image of a solitary hero on a white horse, a sign of the powerful appeal of the strong leader iconography. Compare these objects with the other poster, an iconic advertisement for the Marshall Plan. This was an economic aid initiative of the United States government, which helped to rebuild the economies across Western Europe after the Second World War and doubled as a tool of diplomatic persuasion against the influence of the Soviet Union. This image of breaking bread, which plays on religious sentiment and iconography, reminded Italians of American generosity and friendship during the early days of the Cold War. The second section of the exhibition focuses on Mussolini and the cult of personality that fascism developed around his strongman antics. Mussolini's portraits, mottos, and initials became a staple feature of interwar Italy's visual culture, frequently reproduced on posters and popular magazines, stenciled on walls, and celebrated through ephemeral architecture during mass rallies. On one side of the room, you will notice a modernist pro-colonial poster by Erberto Carboni, which celebrates Mussolini with slogans and his signature M initial. As you continue looking around the room, please notice on the pedestal Renato Bertelli's 1933 continuous profile of the Duce. This futurist sculpture resembles a polished workpiece from an industrial lathe, a two-faced Janus, a military helmet, a phallic symbol, and of course, an all-surveillant Duce. It became an instant hit among fascist supporters, reproduced in countless formats from monumental maialcas to desk-sized souvenirs. On the wall behind the sculpture, you can also notice another famous object, Xanthi-Chavinsky's poster from 1934, a celebration of the farcical election that the fascist regime held that year. You may notice how the designer used the photo montage of a mass rally to represent the body of the Duce, a choice that symbolized how the figure of the sovereign embodied the will of the nation, at least in the hopes of propagandists. The third section of the exhibition is devoted to the relationship between political propaganda and corporate advertising. The decisions of the fascist government heavily influenced the development of the Italian economy during the interwar era, and many companies paid lip service to the regime in an attempt to win political favor. Facing you squarely with an endearing corporate mascot is Araka's advertisement for Snia Fiocco, an artificial fiber that became a favorite of the regime as it reduced importations of cotton and complied with the fascist doctrine of economic autarky. If you turn your gaze 180 degrees, you will find instead the powerful logotype for Metzger beer, designed by Nikolai Dulgarov. While the M initial is a perfectly logical and legitimate choice for a brewery called Metzger, its bold yet restrained modernist design bears a striking resemblance to elements of contemporary political propaganda. Finally, at the far corner of the wall, you will notice a famous poster by Marcello Dudovic for the economy car Fiat Balilla. The automaker owed a gesture of gratitude to the fascist regime in the early 1930s as hefty import tariffs sheltered its market share from foreign competition. Naming a successful utilitarian vehicle after a fascist youth organization was precisely the kind of homage that would sit well with the regime and with the consumers. It is also worth noting, however, that the presence of a woman driver in the poster is remarkably modern and targeted a metropolitan customer base that probably had little interest for fascist traditional gender roles. The fourth and fifth sections of the exhibition occupy the walls of Casa Italiana's main gallery space. The drawings, posters, sketches, and books that you can see on the wall to your right, as well as in the display cases underneath, illustrate the extent to which fascism insinuated itself in the private life of Italians. The anchor piece of this wall is Mario Sironi's preliminary sketch for the Grand Hall of the National Exhibition of Sports, held in Milan in 1935. Its striking avant-garde design called for the use of large photo murals and oversized lettering that recall Cubist and Constructivist models, and illustrates how fascism embraced a variety of artistic styles, attracting many artists and intellectuals into its orbit and bolstering the perception that the regime welcomed creativity. The small selection of works in front of Sironi's piece, on the wall facing Casa Italiana's garden, focuses on New York. Fascist propaganda frequently targeted the United States in order to foster good diplomatic relations and to gain support among the large population of Italian immigrants living in the country. The 1933 transatlantic air raid by Italo Balbo, who led 25 seaplanes from Italy to Chicago, New York, and back, was perhaps the most successful among these propagandistic stunts abroad. On behalf of everyone at Casa Italiana, thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of Propaganda, the Art of Political Indoctrination. We look forward to welcoming you again soon at the Casa, and please stay in touch by visiting our website and Facebook page for all the latest news on our initiatives and events. Take care.